Following yesterday's horrific attack on young children, we often find ourselves saying no child should ever have to go through this. Even more, how does it affect them short, even long term? Someone who might have a good handle on that question is Mia Tretta. In November of 2019, Mia was shot during a school shooting in Santa Clarita, California, at the Saugus High School there. It was only 16 seconds, the attack, but like yesterday's tragedy, 2 people were killed. Now Mia has turned that tragedy into a call for change. And Mia joins us now via Zoom. Hi there, Mia. How are you?
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
Oh,
It's nice to
listen, thank you for being here. First of all, how are you feeling today? I mean, I would imagine every time you hear about a school shooting, it just brings back some really haunting memories.
Yeah, it feels like every single time this happens around our country, which seems like more and more common, it seems like every day almost, it brings me back to that day in 2019, the normal Thursday, and it brings the physical feelings, the emotional feelings, and it just knowing what each of these children are going through, it's terrible. I was 15 years old when I was shot at my high school, and every single day since then has been a struggle. Every
Yeah.
single day since then, I have thought about the shooting. I
Mhm.
have struggled in some way because of it,
How?
and
How have you struggled because of it?
it dealing with not only the emotional trauma of a shooting and losing one of my best friends.
Mm.
It really, you carry that with you, right?
Mhm.
It's jumping because someone dropped a book in your
Oh,
library,
sure, sure.
or if you're driving and there's a loud motorcycle next to you.
Mhm.
It's thinking about your friendships and how those
Mhm.
change and how people, I mean, you're not supposed to think about death and dying when you're
Yeah.
15 years old or even 20 years old.
Well,
And
my condolences to you because the loss of a friend. You knew both of the victims that were killed that day, did you not? And one was your
yes,
best friend?
exactly.
Oh.
And that's not anything someone my age or anyone in
Mm-hmm.
high school, college
Mm-hmm.
should have to deal with, especially such a senseless act.
Yeah.
And the physical pain, of course, lasts with you. It's not something I think a lot of people think you leave the hospital and it's over.
Mm-hmm.
But I left the hospital, and to this day, I've had nerve problems. 2 years after the shooting, had to get a hole in my eardrum repaired that we didn't even know about from acoustic blast damage.
Mm-hmm.
There is constantly new issues
Mm-hmm.
and constantly having to be brought back to the day of the shooting when horrific tragedies like what
Right.
happened yesterday
Right.
consistently happen
Mm-hmm.
is one of the worst parts, especially
Right.
knowing what these families are going through and what their community is going through.
Yeah. And
It's something that no one should know.
yeah, and no one should, like we said, no one should experience, we talk about children, but no one should experience
Yeah.
this. To the degree that you're comfortable, can you kind of tell us what transpired that day?
Yeah, I woke up like it was every other day. I would always get to school insanely early, like no one's business, 45 minutes early, just to hang out with my friends and talk. And we were doing that like every other day before school. I was talking with my best friend Dominic and my other friends, and all of a sudden we heard loud bangs.
Mm-hmm.
I would have never assumed it was a shooting,
Mm-hmm.
um, but I found myself on the ground just thinking I had to run.
Oh.
I ran across campus, doors shutting all around me. There was a door I tried to get into, and they locked it right in front of me. Everyone just kind of scared and in a panic. And I found myself in my favorite teacher's classroom, Miss Lejusa, my Spanish teacher, with about 6 other students, where I sat down in my regular assigned seat that I had sat in the 2 months prior every single day.
Yeah.
And that's when I realized I had been shot.
Oh my gosh, I can't even imagine. Where were you shot? You said you're suffering some, you know.
I was shot in my stomach,
Okay. Oh my
um,
gosh.
and I was able to be ambulanced from school to a nearby park, and from that park airlifted
Mm-hmm.
to Holy Cross Hospital, where I underwent a few different procedures and surgeries,
Well,
and one of them was able to remove the bullet that was lodged inside of my
oh,
stomach.
well, thank God you survived. And the one thing I so admire is the fact that you are choosing not to be a victim and advocating for change. Talk to us a little bit more about the things that you're doing to make that happen.
Yeah, you kind of, at least for me, I got to a point where I had to advocate and had to
Mm-hmm.
do something because it it made it in some ways better knowing that I was at least trying to stop it from happening to someone else.
And some of the things you did, you raised $8,000 for your two friends that were killed. You sued the seller who sold the ghost gun to the shooter. You're so involved in different advocacy programs. You even spoke at the White House, which is so amazing. So I just have a question. For folks, do you see that the issue of school shootings is getting better or worse from your perspective?
I think every single day we go without an assault weapons ban, it is getting worse. For the 10-year period where we had Clinton's assault weapons ban, mass shooting deaths were 70% less likely to occur.
Yeah.
And because Congress let that bill expire, mass shootings with 6 or more victims increased by 347%.
That's just
So it's
flabbergasting to
clear it's
me.
getting worse.
Yeah.
And if we don't do something soon to stop it, it's just going to continue
Yeah.
exponentially to
That
get
was,
worse.
and that was
It's
my
happening
next
every community.
question. We've got about 30 seconds. That's my next question. For folks who say it's a mental health issue and not a gun issue, what do you have to say to those folks?
Mental health, of course, is a factor in everything in life, and it's a problem, but why would you arm someone in crisis? At the end of the day, if people have access to guns and people aren't safely storing their firearms, this is just going to continue.
Yeah, Tia, we are starting a 4:30 show on September 8th, and I would love to invite you back as a guest. I just think you have so much insight, and we would love to hear more from you. And thank you tonight for sharing your story with us.
Thank you so much for having me. It's nice to meet you, and I hope we get something done about this soon.
Yeah, I know you're moving to class, into your dorm. Good luck at school this year.
Thank you so much.